Hello, and welcome to Hello Sister, a Vampire Diaries podcast with a magical twist.
We're your hosts, Christina Rosso-Schneider
and Brenna Dinon. We are currently doing our inaugural
There we go.
Spoiler section episode. So our intention for our spoiler episodes are gonna go as follows. We're gonna just do a quick little overview of the episode, and for this first one, we're gonna just talk about the season to date. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about what we're thinking, where we're heading for the show, and using spoilers as context. So we're just not going to do what we typically do on the podcast, where we're sort of withholding information or knowledge just for the sake of going along with the show. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to you, Christina, if you want to get us started on just a season to date overview. You don't have to do all of it. I'll jump in with you and we'll just feel it out, because we're really going off the cuff for this one, you guys.
We're off the grid.
We're off the grid.
All right. So season 1 of the Vampire Diaries, at least to date, so halfway through season 1, we start with Stefan Salvatore, who is a 17-year-old vampire who has returned home to Mystic Falls, Virginia for the first time in a very long time. He has re-enrolled himself in Mystic Falls High because there's a human girl named Elena Gilbert that he has to know. She looks exactly like his ex-girlfriend, who was a vampire in 1864. But he finds that he's drawn to Elena Gilbert and that she is nothing like his ex, Catherine. They have a cute meet-cute in a bathroom in the first episode, and there's just sparks immediately. Additional characters to note at the beginning is that she broke up with her childhood, best friend / boyfriend, Matt Donovan, a few months ago, and he is very mopey about her. Even now in the season, 10 episodes in, she has 2 best friends, Bonnie Bennett and Caroline Forbes, though earlier in the season, they're not super nice to Caroline. She's also not always the nicest.
Yeah.
There is also Tyler Lockwood, who is on the football team with Matt. He's kind of Matt's best friend, and he's a douche. And then Elena's little brother, Jeremy, who's a freshman in high school, is in love with Matt's younger sister, Vicky. And Vicky is sleeping with Tyler when the show starts.
Great. I love
Do you
all
want
of
to
that.
take it from there?
Those are all the players at hand, except for, oops, there is one more. A brother who comes onto the scene eventually. So as we are getting adjusted to school and oriented to the fact that Stefan has this secret but has to know Elena, we quickly learn that he's not alone and that he has a brother named Damon.
Who's also a vampire.
And he is back in Mystic Falls for undisclosed reasons for quite some time, but involving Catherine, their undead lover that looks like Elena. And so in the beginning episodes of this show, we are mostly just getting a lay of the land of the school and how things are going, but the brothers are sort of starting to kind of ingratiate themselves in ways into the characters, like the human characters that we know. And Elena is falling in love with Stefan over the time as they are continuing to get to know each other. And we just start seeing that there are animal attacks that are going on in the town, which are actually directly related to Damon, because he doesn't at that in the beginning part.
Because he's chomping them.
Yeah, he's chomping them. He has no really regard for human life at that point. And then as we keep going through the show, some things happen. There is the notable death of the high school teacher, which kind of escalates things, Mr. Tanner. And then just as time goes on, there's just some growing suspicion from Elena about Stefan and what is going on with him, and eventually it comes out to her. He does eventually reveal that he's a vampire, but she kind of like figures it out after how many episodes is that? 5 episodes?
5 episodes. And that's where she starts to learn more about his past. And we get one flashback so far to 1864. Also notable that Damon strikes up a relationship with Caroline and is feeding on her and is also compelling her. So she doesn't spill his secret, but also so she doesn't really know what's happening to her. And then eventually he feeds on Matt's sister, Vicky, and turns her into a vampire. So we get to see our first vampire transition. And this is after Elena has learned about vampires, but it's still pretty fresh for her. And Vicky doesn't last very long as a vampire at a Halloween party where she snuck outside to hook up with Jeremy, Elena's brother. She ends up coming after Elena, tries to kill her, and Stefan stakes Vicky. So some high stakes for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we mentioned, but Elena and Jeremy, they lost their parents a few months before the show started, and their Aunt Jenna is their guardian. She starts dating someone who is the town's reporter, Logan Scumfell, and they start dating again, and then he dies and actually becomes a vampire too. And also there is a council, a town council, a secret council of founding family members that have keyed into the existence of vampires and are trying to deal with that.
And trying to resolve the vampire issue. And once upon a time, Stefan and Damon's families were a part of those founding families, which we also learn. And I'm trying to think if there's any other additional information, but that's the gist of it. And and of course, so going to one more thing is that Bonnie, through these episodes as well, we learned that Bonnie, Elena's best friend, is a witch. And so these are all new revelations, pretty much like up to where we've watched to the 10 episodes in. And now where we left the show is in this most recent episode, The Turning Point. Elena discovers that she not only, like, you know, there's been complex stuff with Catherine, but she looks exactly like Catherine, which we've known through the whole time.
And this is after she tells Stefan that she loves him for the first time and they have sex.
Yes. So, and if you've seen the show, you know all of this and you know all the other details, but if for some reason you're watching a spoiler filled episode, those are kind of the highlights. So with that, and this will be a little different moving forward. We just needed to cover this for the first 10 episodes. But so where do we think, like, I mean, I guess now we can kind of like talk more casually. So where, like, when you're watching the show, since I mean, like, I feel like the biggest question I had coming out of this episode was wondering who the figure was.
Mm-hmm.
And my guess was, like, and I'm wrong, and we can talk about being wrong, like, because we looked it up beforehand. But I was originally thinking that it might have been Alaric because of his ring, because I did remember that obviously, like, Alaric's ring is, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, we didn't introduce Alaric in
We did not, but Alaric is the new teacher that replaces Mr. Tan.
Vampire Slayer. He kills Logan as a vampire.
Yeah.
In episode 10.
So yeah, he's very new in the last 2 episodes. So. But because I think I correctly remember that ring. I don't remember all the lore about the ring, but the ring does, like, when the wearer has it on, they can die and come back to life, right?
Yes.
So I thought that was him, but then we learned it was not that. It was another vampire who we haven't met yet.
Yeah, so at the end of episode 10, Elena hits a figure in the middle of the road after she's figured out. She's seen the photo of Catherine and she's wigging out.
Yeah.
And so she hits this figure and her car flips. And as she's upside down and, you know, freaking out, we see this figure start to move, and it's moving in a very unnatural way. My memory was that it was a vampire. It also was kind of like, for me, the only thing that made sense. we did look it up because I was like, it's definitely a vampire, but I don't know who it is. If I remember the name correctly, it's Noah, and he's one of the vampires that is interested in getting the tomb that Catherine is in under the church opened.
Yeah.
Because there's vampires trapped inside, and he's working with one of those vampires' daughter, who we will get to meet. Anna, who we will get to meet soon. And he sees Elena. I don't know where, but his kind of lore is that he's seen Elena and she looks just like Catherine. So he becomes obsessed with her because he was obsessed with Catherine, and he kind of loses sight of his goal. So he's just kind of fucking with her here.
Yeah. So so I'm interested to see like when those storylines like start coming into play. I mean, I imagine soon, because I mean, I think Anna comes in as early as next episode.
She definitely comes in soon. And it's like once Elena learns about Catherine, all the doppelganger stuff.
Yeah.
Surprise. Elena and Catherine are doppelgangers.
Okay, so here's something that I don't remember. Because, like, again, open forum. We don't have to hide what we do or don't know. But, okay. Remind me if you do know, because I genuinely don't remember, what is like the doppelganger deal? Like, is it that because they have like, so they are identical, because they're not, they are related or aren't related?
I believe they are. There is a bloodline.
Okay, so she is a part of the Gilberts.
Yeah, because they always say like the Petrova doppelgangers.
Okay, and then
because when we start finding out about doppelgangers, as far as the show had written, Catherine was the original, but that's not actually true.
Right, because it's that Tatia. Was she one of the originals?
She's definitely one of them. I don't know if she's original.
I don't know.
They keep changing it on us.
They kept changing it. Yeah,
but I do think they're technically related.
Okay, so they are technically
they're like
related.
super, super distant.
And then Stefan has Silas.
He has multiple,
and has other ones, but and the doppelgangers are always like drawn to each other. Those are those are things that I do remember.
It's very like Romeo and Juliet kind of thing,
like ill-fated mates.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I don't really, I mean, like, because I just like, it's fuzzy. I remember the things, but I'm like, that's like, I forget if they are truly related or not, but that would make sense if they were the
and then there's specifically the blood of the doppelgangers being very important to our original Klaus.
Right. I don't remember
Which is why, okay, so this is really fun because I love the originals. So Niklaus Michelson, who is the first, he comes from the first family of vampires, but his mother, we won't meet him for a little bit in the show, but his mother cheated on his father with someone who was a werewolf. And so he is the first hybrid. Yep. He is both vampire and werewolf. Because of this infidelity, his father has hated him and literally thinks he's like, literally calls him a bastard, but thinks that he's like basically evil incarnate.
Yeah.
And so their father is a vampire who hunts his children.
Because so if I'm remembering, because as you're talking, I'm slowly remembering. Isn't it that like mommy Michelson, yeah. Isn't she a witch?
She is a witch.
So, they
also have witches in their family too.
Right. So, but isn't that why she like cast a spell on them to like make them into vampires to like protect them or something? Yes. That was the original. Yes. That's the original.
After one of the children died, because I think there were originally like 7 of them. But Klaus wants to make a family like himself.
Right.
And he needs very specific blood to do that. And I don't remember the explanation of why, but it is specifically the Petrova blood. So that's why in like the 1400s, when Catherine is still human, Katerina, he's planning on killing her.
Well, wait, is that? I'm trying to remember. Maybe. Well, I don't know. I guess we could talk. I mean, because I'm just remembering stuff with Klaus, like, because. Okay, I'm trying to remember because, like, in keeping it maybe to like closer to like where we're at in the show. So, Catherine. I know that we see Catherine at the end of season 1. Like, she kisses Damon on the porch.
Yes.
And she's cosplaying as Elena.
Yes.
So that's a like switcheroodle that happens there. So that's like our first time seeing her. Or when did they spring them out? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but she's not in the tomb. Spoiler alert, she's not in the tomb.
She was never in the tomb. Okay.
She was never in the tomb.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
She's been free, but on the run from Klaus.
From Klaus, right. I did remember she was
time.
like on the run from Klaus, but I didn't know if that was like post being sprung from the tomb or... But doesn't she get like stuck somewhere in a tomb at some point?
She gets entombed later. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. She's all like hot, and that's after the masquerade party.
Okay, that's in season 2.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be fun. We will be wearing masks for the masquerade.
She has a bump it in, or it looks like it.
Oh my god, yeah. So, and then I think one thing we can, I guess, talk about that's sort of like more related to like the episode, right? Because I think, I don't know, maybe in the directions of these, we maybe want to like center it. Well, I mean, we did it kind of it's all related because it's all related to the show. But Caroline, we've been talking a lot about Caroline's lack of agency.
Yes.
And something that I cannot wait is for when this girl gets to finally become a freaking vampire so she can get some of her goddamn agency back, because it is hard to watch. It's
really hard to watch, and there's certainly grating aspects of her human personality.
Yeah.
But as we saw in episode 10, she really doesn't have a support system, right? Like, her parents are divorced. Her father is fuck all, like wherever he is, right? Her mom is the sheriff and genuinely does not seem to like Caroline or believe in her, and leaves Caroline alone a lot of the time. Yeah. And then Caroline's 2 best friends don't include her in a lot of stuff.
Nope.
And so even though she's cheer captain / coach, and I imagine she's probably a really good student too.
Yeah.
She definitely has that like perfectionism.
She has she has like an organized pencil case.
Oh, she has to.
And
color coordinated per the day.
For the day, and also probably uses the those like post-it note tag thingies. Did you ever use those in school?
Oh, absolutely. But she is neurotic, and she is damaged, and she's sometimes mean, and I said in the full episode for episode 10 that I'm so tired of her being the damsel, right? And she has, in my opinion, the best arc of any character in this show. All 8 seasons.
Love.
The show eventually becomes really the Caroline Forbes show. Like, she becomes our main girl, especially when,
Elena
is in a sleeping curse.
Asleep in mystical sleep.
Yeah.
Mystical falls.
Yes.
Mystical falls.
Mystical falls. And while I won't forgive, the events that happen that leads to her becoming a vampire, and I've said many times that there are things that Damon does to her and others, but to her is in particular in these early episodes that I don't care if she becomes a vampire and it's so much better for her and like she really comes into her own. I can't forgive him for how he's mistreated her.
Yeah.
But I am really excited to see her again because, obviously we watch the show, but to see her come into her own in that way and not be left in the dark anymore and just really become like empowered.
I am too. I'm trying to remember like what makes her, because it's Catherine who kills her in the hospital, right?
Yeah. She puts a pillow to her face.
Yeah, I did remember that. And then, but whose blood does she have in her system?
I believe it's Damon.
It's Damon?
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so, because then, that sounds right. But
So
I'm really like, I think that's like the thing that I'm getting excited about is in our beginning episodes, like there's just like so much ground to be laid, and I think we've been experiencing it more in these like latter episodes where we're able to sort of like build off of like the stuff that we've seen in the earlier episodes to really just like kind of comment on the way that people are in the show, or like how they are, and being like, oh, okay, like we're seeing like the beginnings of this thing, like Tyler being a werewolf, right, like that's another thing.
It's not so subtle in episode 10, but
it's not subtle at all. Like they have a huge full moon, but like at the time, like if you didn't know, like that's, it just was like, because I don't think that Dwight clocked it.
Yeah.
Like when we were watching it, like he did, I don't think he like noticed.
Well, and the thing too that we'll learn, which is interesting, because his father, when he tries to get Tyler and Jeremy to fight, he's like, this is a lesson my father taught me, and like all of this stuff. And there's obviously anger that runs through the generations in that family, especially we only know of male ancestors, but his father is not a werewolf.
Yeah.
Right? It is something that is present, but is only specifically triggered.
Right.
In specific
folks.
You
have to kill somebody.
You have to kill somebody.
That's what I thought.
So eventually we'll meet his Uncle Mason. Things don't go well for uncles, I can tell you that. But that's a really interesting storyline, and they're definitely starting to kind of plant those seeds and are starting to humanize Tyler a little bit. And there's some growing pains, certainly.
For sure.
But by the time he's turned, it's been triggered, and Caroline's a vampire, their relationship becomes really interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their relationship. But like, and what I was just like thinking about more is, just how the show has to like rehab characters for us to like them. So like in your case, you obviously like don't like Damon because of all the stuff that he's done to Caroline, understandably so. And it's like you can already see like as early, like there's like small moments that Damon has like in these like first 10 episodes where you're like, okay, like you're seeing a moment like him talking to Elena in the kitchen. Yeah. There's like a moment of genuine like, oh, like him realizing that she's not quite like Catherine, and like having like a little moment with her, or listening to Vicky when Vicky's crying and talk like, and just like letting her kind of like talk about her life, and then kind of deciding to turn her into a vampire because he thought her human life was shit. And but like that's not something, he's still, again, a lot of the way he goes about things is bad. But like you're already starting to see the rehab like happen, and not fully. And I think that we're probably going to start seeing, actually, in fact, I know that we are going to start seeing it like more in like the latter half of this season. Yeah. With certain things that happen, like the Founders Day. Yes. Wow. But like there's other things too that he does to start, and they're like actively trying to do that to rehab him, to get him to be more likable.
So he makes sense for Elena, which I think I don't actually have a problem with them being together. I don't think she deserves Stefan. So that's my hot take.
Hey, that's sound.
But I've said many times that I just like genuinely don't care that much about Elena. Yep. I do think her being the doppelganger is like honestly the only thing that makes her interesting to me. Yeah. At least this far in. Yeah. And no, I kind of just always feel that way about her.
She's so tough.
She's just so tough, right? I really think it's a story about the brothers, and I root for both of the brothers, and I want both of the brothers to be happy, but like I'm like, you don't have to fight over the same girl. No. I also think it's interesting that Ian Somerhalder was really unhappy when the writers, like he could see the writing on the wall that they were shifting him into like a leading man and romantic role. Like he did not want that for himself / for Damon. I think he even may have like tried to leave the show.
I feel like almost every person on that show there's definitely a YouTube video out there that is like almost every person at one point during the show tried to leave.
I just think that's really interesting, and he's certainly talked about how by the time their characters are together, they were no longer dating in real life. And
that's such a yikes bike situation.
And that's definitely awkward. But yeah, it is they're definitely trying to rehab him and rehab, starting to give Tyler more storylines, trying to make Caroline more likable. It's surprising after this episode, but we will come to like Sheriff Forbes.
Yeah. I mean, she's also, like her, even just how early on, like with just kind of going back to like the episode at hand here, like Sheriff Forbes coming to talk to Damon and like their relationship,
friendship is really interesting.
Their friendship is like just a very good one. I remember just being like, damn, that's like such a duo. And Alaric and Damon, which we haven't gotten to yet, but we'll talk more about that when it's time. But it's just like the players are all coming into place, and I'm just it's been interesting so far to see like what tweaks they're making as they're like the writers are doing as they go along to try to like fit where everybody's going next.
Yeah. Which in some ways I think it's successful, and in some ways
it's a little messy.
I would say it's a little messy, and I do have a hard time. Like obviously, sometimes it's clear they're like flying by the seat of their pants. Yeah. But then there's something like to go back to the pilot episode when Caroline gets the lowdown on Stefan, the mysterious new guy at school, and she's like, he's like, he's a Gemini, which they change for him to become a Scorpio. But it's like, he's a Gemini, like we're planning a June wedding. And that's the title of the final episode. And the two of them get married in June. And according to Julie Plec, that they were always endgame. Yeah. But I'm like, but that's not 100% true, because you were originally going to write out Candace King. She was only going to be in a few episodes, and I think her arc was going to be it was probably actually what Vicky's was. Yeah, I mean, they were not planning on her being a certainly not eventually becoming like our main girly.
It's so interesting. And I mean, like, it's just so interesting how when we like look at, because obviously the landscape of television has changed since the Vampire Diaries has been out, right? Like we don't have like 22 episode seasons of TV anymore. We're lucky if we get 13 or like, I don't know. I feel like the Pit now has like more 15. Okay, but and that's more than we have been getting in years.
Yeah, we're getting like 8 to 10. Typically.
Yeah. So it's just like being able to be with these characters for a long time and just kind of how they're massaging their roles. And I feel like that's true of like most network television shows, that they're definitely like changing things around so that, and to try to like get us to feel differently about certain characters that maybe were like on a villain arc and then they're not on a villain arc, and like they're all moving in place. But I think we're heading into really fun territory moving forward, and I look forward to getting to like talk in a more open forum. I know this one was our first one, so it might be a little like rough and tumble over here, but
we also have like not been talking about a lot of these things because we've been trying to stay really focused on the episode at hand. Yeah. So it's fun to I've been trying to think about what are some of the things I've been dying to talk about. I know the June wedding was one of them. Yeah. The whole doppelganger thing is a big one. Yep.
I'm trying to think of like other. I know that. Do we ever meet like Jonathan? I don't know if we ever do we ever meet Jonathan Gilbert in like a flashback, or just no?
We might. We obviously meet Giuseppe, and Salvatore.
That's their dad, right?
And the mom, but we might. I think we do.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know. But I do. What I do remember is that Elena's parents aren't her actual parents, right? And I mean, like her, like the Gilbert parents, right? So, but isn't Isabel like married to Alaric? Yeah, or was? Yeah. But we'll talk about that more in a future episode because that's, I think, coming soon. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think we can probably leave that this little spoiler.
Just a fun little snack.
Little spoiler snack.
Little chomp snack. Spoiler snack.
Spoiler snack.
Love that.
Maybe that's what it'll be. Spoiler snacks. All right. Well. Again, loose form here, but thank you so much for tuning in to Hello Sister, whether you're along for the deep dives, whether you're along for our little spoiler snacks,
or you're along for everything.
Here for all of it. We appreciate you and hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
Hello Sister is written, directed, and hosted by Christina Rosso-Schneider and Brenna Dinon. Graphic designs are by Alex Schneider. Music is written and produced by Dwight Evan Young. Sound design and video are recorded and produced by Dwight Evan Young and Brenna Dinon. Hello Sister podcast is a Bad Day Media production.